How are we doing, chat? Just so happens that I left the dongle for my headset at work today. Of all days. Shit sucks. Rosie, good to see you. Shall we just get started then? Okay, so I guess we should start with the basics of how Guitar Hero vocals work. As far as I'm gonna be talking about how it's scored, how star power works, how the little extra quirks work to the best of my ability. To start with, a lot of that depends on which game you're playing. So you have the World Tour era, which consists of World Tour, Metallica, Smash Hits, Van Halen. For the most part, the latter three, Metallica, Van Halen, Smash Hits, all play pretty much identically except for maybe the hit window. But as far as scoring goes, they all play the same. There are some little things with World Tour that are exclusive to World Tour. And it's really weird. I'll go over what's relevant and what isn't. What's different. So we will start with some World Tour gameplay. Turn this down a little bit. Shout out to the Satch Boogie vocals track that the one you can only play if you're playing in multiplayer co-op. Also, what up, Sky? Good to see you. How you doing? So we'll start here. Let's skip ahead a little bit. So, in World Tour, every phrase has a maximum of 500 points you can get. However, in this game specifically, it depends on how much of the phrase you hit. So here I got 465 points. Oh, you know what? I'm not even showing it. 1 sec. Professional streamer. And I gotta fix this. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So 500. Pro Singer, what up, Nolan? Thank you so much for that third month, Tier 1. Love you, buddy. I just realized I don't have the alert box on. Shit. The alerts. And I think I need the sound alerts, too. Yeah, I need the sound alerts as a separate thing. Yeah, I left my headset dongle at work like an idiot. Like a fucking idiot. Alright, the sound alerts should just... I don't know how to place those. Those should just play. Anyway, so, World Tour... Every game in the World Tour era... You can get a maximum of 500 points per phrase. Oops. However, in World Tour specifically, you have to hit every single bit of the phrase to get the full 500. So you can see here I got only 465. That's because I missed individual parts of the phrase. So let's take a look at this again. The parts that light up yellow are the parts that you hit. The, I guess, more orangey brownish parts, those are your misses. So if they don't light up yellow, that means you missed that specific spot. You'll also notice that the phrase is scored right as it ends. Like the boundaries are. This is how it usually works for Guitar Hero. There are some rare exceptions in this game specifically, and even more rare exceptions in the other World Tour era games. But the rating here, let's talk about this as well. In World Tour and only World Tour, it's just a flash. It's just a colored flash. From best to worst, it's green, yellow, white, orange, red. In the other games, it'll actually come with an actual rating, a word: excellent, solid, average, rough, and sloppy. The colors are still the same, so it's basically the same system. They just added words to it to make it more obvious and clear. But yeah, if we boot up, say, Guitar Hero Metallica real fast. All right, the freeform. I'll explain this later. And it looks like I gotta adjust the chat box again, just because of the star counter. I did not come as prepared as I wanted to for this. Okay. Oh God, I hate this video player. All right. Why is this thing like this? Okay, so in Metallica, Smash Hits, and Van Halen, an excellent gives you 500 points regardless. Assuming you don't have a multiplier. This is with the 1 times multiplier. You get 500 points regardless with an excellent. Although unlike World Tour, let me back up. I should have written an outline for this. That's my fault. Alright, so you saw a yellow flash there. In World Tour and only World Tour, you can retain your combo with a yellow flash or a solid. In any other game, that will break your combo. See the yellow flash, still got the combo, still going. But yeah, in any of these other games, you will miss with a solid. Like right here, I think. Yeah, see, the solid combo broken, SE gone. Well, I guess the SE was already gone. But yeah, solid combo broken, SE gone. That's how all the other games work. Only World Tour lets you get away with a solid on an SC run. Also, all of the World Tour era engines look like this, and this HUD is better, and I'll explain why. But we'll go back to Feel the Pain real quick. like I said, it actually shows you where exactly you missed. There's a trail that shows exactly where you missed. But not only that, how you missed. This is a good way to learn how to improve, what to do differently next time. Now, we'll skip ahead to GH5, which also applies to Band Hero and Warriors of Rock. You can see that it tells you that you missed, but it doesn't tell you how. Either you know the notes or you don't. There really is no teaching yourself what you did wrong. And on top of that, the GH5 and Band Hero engines are just super tight. Like, way more tight than they should be. Just way worse in general. You can prefer it all you want, but it doesn't teach you how you screwed up. You know, GH5 and Band Hero are awful. Also, what up, Zero? Good to see you. Now, while we're here on GH5, like I said, for the World Tour era, 500 points per phrase maximum. With GH5, Band Hero, and Warriors of Rock, it scores very differently. So let's go through this first phrase. $2,950 points for one phrase. The way the scoring works on 5 Band Hero and Warriors is it depends on how long the phrase is, or just how much is in the phrase. So we'll take a song like Ragdoll, which has a lot of really short phrases. In fact, we'll just take the first, See, that's only 512. 12. Now we're at 1295. With see, it depends on how long the phrase is. Or not exactly the duration, but just how many ticks there are to hit. You bring up a song like "The Takeover, the Break's Over" by Fall Out Boy. You get in the bridge. You get this phrase. We're currently at 84,000. And now we're at 113,000 with the activation. Now, with that said, I got to explain how star power works on these games. Because that also depends on... Well, no, it doesn't depend on... There are a couple differences between the old and the new. Yes, thanks, Nolan. And that's also part of why I made sure to get the chat box up. So, let's talk star power. Let's go back to World Tour. Let's do No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So, in the World Tour era, you can get star power with every phrase. With an asterisk, I'll get to that in a minute. If you get a green flash or an excellent, you get 1.5 bulbs or 25% of the meter. If you get a solid, it's about a little more than half of one bulb. I don't know the exact amount, but it's a little more than a half of a bulb. But yeah, every phrase you can get, you can add to your meter, with one exception, and that's during an activation. So I activate right there. You can see I'm hitting phrases, but the meter is not going up. So when during an activation, I did not talk about that quite yet, Nolan. During an activation, you will not gain star power, with the exception of a glitch. Which I'll pull up real quick. There is a glitch where here it is. So if you activate star power right on the frame that the phrase ends, it will add to the. You will get both the double points, and it will give you the star power on your meter. Freeforms and hypes do still add to the meter during an activation. But in most cases, that won't make a difference. I'll get to how freeforms and hypes work in a bit. Again. Now, speaking of star power, you'll notice I'm activating at the end of a phrase. There is a reason I'm doing that. It doesn't work like Rock Band. The way Rock Band works is that it gives you double points for however much of the pie you fill while the activation is active, during the activation. So if you activate halfway through a phrase, half the pie is filled, then you activate, you'll get double points for the other half. And on the back end as well, if the phrase ends, or the activation ends halfway through a phrase, half the pie is filled, you'll only get double points for that first half. Guitar Hero, it's a lot more straightforward. When a phrase ends, basically the game just checks at what the current multiplier is at the time the phrase ends, and then it scores you based on what that number is. So generally speaking, unless you're doing a very specific path, you want to activate as late as possible. And that goes for all of the Guitar Hero games. Now, I do have to point out a difference with GH5, Band Hero, and Warriors of Rock. Like I said, for World Tour era, you can get star power on every phrase. This is not the case with, the later games. So let's pull up the Outsider here. The later games, it's more like Rock Band. Where you'll have these dedicated phrases that'll give you star power. Very hard song, by the way, yes. These phrases lit up blue will give you star power. Now, how much star power depends on how much of the phrase you hit. It is not a static amount. So here I got, what was that, 35 to 40%? But if you're just barely hitting the phrase, you'll get closer to like 25 to 30%. In any case, you need a minimum of 2 star power phrases to be able to activate. And generally speaking, if you're playing well enough, 3 phrases will be enough to fill the meter. But not always. Again, if you're just barely hitting the phrases, then you'll get less than full bar. It's I don't know what the exact numbers are. I'm not like Addy. I don't have all that super nitty gritty information. But just know it varies based on how well you're doing. Other than that, it still acts the same. The game just doesn't check on what the current multiplier is at the end of a phrase. That's all. I'd have been on 5+, hella risky in any case because of the highway effects, though. The highway effects never really bothered me that much. I mean, the HUD was already dog shit to begin with, if you ask me. I guess I didn't mention this before, but I guess I'll bring it up now. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, these engines are broken. These engines are broken." Shut the fuck up, okay? That is skill issue. It is purely skill issue. All right? Shut the fuck up. They're not broken. They're actually, in fact, there is not a single song in any of these games that is broken, okay? On vocals, okay? The engines might be tight, the charts might be dog shit, but they're not broken. All right, I had to make sure I mentioned that part. So now, how about we talk about we'll get to that, Nolan. That's just gonna be part of like the little bonus section. So let's talk about hypes and freeforms real quick. Trying to think, what songs have hypes? Did I find a hype in here? Yep. Thought I saw one. Yeah, Overkill has some. Okay, so right here, these blue hands here that kind of represent the crowd going wild. This is called a hype. All you got to do is make a little noise during this section, and it gives you a little bit of star power. It's about the same as what a solid would give you, which is slightly more than half of a bulb. You can see before the hype ended, I had exactly three quarters of the bar full. But afterwards, you can see I have this fifth bulb full, and then a little bit of the sixth bulb. So it's a little more than half a bulb. So that's all a hype is. It just gives you a little more star power, and it also raises the rock meter a little bit, if that matters to you. Now the freeform. This is a lot more complex. It's what these wavy lines are. Okay, so what's happening here is that what you're supposed to do here is sing different notes in the key of the song you're playing. For every unique note that the game deems to be correct, if you hold that note for, I don't know, about a second and a half, 2 seconds, you'll see the multiplier of the freeform go up. And while you're also hitting correct notes, the score will go up on its own no matter what, as long as you're hitting correct notes. Again, you need to hit different ones, so you need to keep changing your note every time this multiplier goes up, and then you'll get an absolute assload of points out of this. And what's even better is that the multiplier you have over here. This multiplier also plays into how many points you get. So you get this times this times this. So in almost every case, it is optimal to activate on these. You see, I went from 172k, and then just with one freeform, 262. Yeah, and the notes that are correct are as Nolan said, are likely pre-programmed into the chart, but you just have to figure out on your own which ones they are. And the number of correct notes depends on the freeform too. So like, I don't have footage of this, but toxicity in GH Metallica, that can only get up to like a 4 times on the freeform. There's only 3 correct notes on that one specifically, or maybe it's 4, and then you can only get a maximum of 5 times. Whatever. There's only a few correct ones on toxicity. So that's how freeforms work in the World Tour era. Now in GH5 Plus, they handle this very differently. Where do I have footage of one? Oh, I probably have one in Sad But True. Yep, okay. So this is the freeform in GH5, Band Hero, and Warriors of Rock. You know what this does? Very slightly raises the rock meter, and that's it. That's it. They made it completely worthless. And even to get that to happen, you have to make noise pretty much throughout the entire thing. So when these come up, just ignore it. Just ignore it. It's not worth wasting your breath on. Yeah, it does add to the rock meter, but only very slightly. And like I said, you have to make noise throughout the entire thing, pretty much. If you stop making noise for just a second, it's not going to give you anything. I think the only other thing I have left to talk about is how World Tour percentages work. I think. So this is, for some reason, a huge turnoff for people with World Tour specifically. Okay, so when I'm done yapping about Guitar Hero vocals, I'm actually gonna get on the game Peak with some friends. We're gonna play the game on Steam. We've been trying to schedule this for a while now, and I kind of scheduled this yap session when we were gonna play it tonight, but then I found a workaround. So when I'm done yapping about this, we're gonna go right into Peak. Or at least that's the idea. So, remember when I mentioned that you get fewer points in a. Remember when I went? Jesus, the fucking gas in my ass. All right. Remember when I mentioned that you get fewer than 500 points in a phrase in World Tour specifically if you're missing ticks? Well, that also plays into your final percentage. Unfortunately. So here I got this is a full combo of About a Girl Unplugged. 31 phrases. Why did this thing do this? But then you go to the stats screen, 95%. So I missed roughly 5% of all the ticks in the song. In order to get 100% on vocals in World Tour, you have to hit literally every single bit of the chart. Freeforms and hypes not included. But anything that's actually charted, you have to hit. Only 2 songs on the disc have been 100%ed before. One of them is No Sleep Till Brooklyn, which is all talkies anyway. So that's basically free. The other one is Pretty Vacant by the Sex Pistols, which has only been done one time. Once. Ever. There are a few DLC songs that also were done, but again, they're not like super significant. And yeah, that one time was in 2009, so that has yet to be repeated in the past 16 years. I guess since I mentioned talkies, I just realized I didn't go into detail about that, so I'll quickly summarize that. God, this video player sucks. So like I said, No Sleep Till Brooklyn is just this. In World Tour, the talkies are all red notes in the middle of the highway. They're just in the middle there, and the fireball just kind of does what it wants. Like the fireball thinks that the song is in a different range or something. If you go to one of the other games, let's go like Smash Hits Miss Murder. So in Metallica, Smash Hits, and Van Halen, the talkies all look like this. They're white notes now, and the fireball will actually lock to them this time. But otherwise, they play the same way. All you gotta do is make enough noise into the microphone for the game to pick it up, and it'll count. That's all you gotta do. Just make noise. If you play on beginner, all the notes are talkies. So you can put the microphone in front of the fan, like this. Well, as long as it's picking up enough noise, and then it'll just work. And that's another thing. The earlier Rock Band engines could not do talkies correctly. They couldn't get Rock Band couldn't get talkies right until Rock Band 3, and even then, there's a stupid glitch there. Guitar Hero 5 and Band Hero. Yeah, I got a video of Rockstar, so that's good here. Guitar Hero 5 and Band Hero talkies look like this. They're still kind of plastered right in the middle of the screen, but now they're like these giant open rectangles, which are a lot thicker than the regular pitch notes, so that's how you can distinguish them. Warriors of Rock. All the talkies are just lines at the bottom of the highway. But again, all you gotta do is make noise, and they work. So now that I've gone through all the regular games that we're used to talking about, I do have to talk about two very unfortunate games. This is DJ Hero 2. You'll notice that the highway doesn't scroll. That's because it just doesn't. This is how you have to play it. In a game full of remixes. So good luck guessing on what's on the next phrase. These circles here, these are your talkies. These are fucked up. They are timing based, and even then, sometimes they just don't work. On top of that, all the other games that I talked about previously, in order to get a full combo, you have to just hit every phrase without breaking combo. Yeah, not this game. No, right there. Right there. This talkie I missed because it's gray. I missed that one talkie. Oops. SE is dead. The SE is dead just because I missed that one talkie. The talkie that performs like shit, by the way. And these are your pitch notes. What up, Avery? Hydrate? So you notice that one song in the mix is green and the other one is blue. It's just like when you're playing with a turntable. How it does that. 1 sec. So, in order to get an FC on DJ Hero 2 vocals, you have to hit at least... you have to hit every syllable of the song. If it's a pitched syllable, then you just need like one tick to retain combo. So you'll see here, I missed this bit, but I still hit this bit. So this still counts as a hit towards the SC. There is another thing fucked up about this engine, though, and that's the multiplier. So the FC is not based on phrase by phrase, but the multiplier is. See, because I missed that, the multiplier dropped. This is just a phenomenon in and of its own. It's awful. Would not recommend. So, the other unfortunate game that we have to look at is Guitar Hero Live. Yes, Guitar Hero Live had vocals. These are your talkies. And do they work? No. They don't. They are, once again, timing based. So you hear me just kind of mumbling. That's just how it is. That's the most efficient way to hit talkies in this game. Is to just make a brand new noise whenever one crosses the strike line. And just hope that it works. Now, as far as SCing a song on this engine, it is thankfully, once again, based on phrase by phrase. this circle up here, the ring around the multiplier, is gauging how well you're doing in that individual phrase. And to hit a phrase, you only need to fill it up halfway. On top of that, there's no difficulty slider for this game. You just put the song on, you play it. It's just one difficulty. Despite Score Hero, for some reason, having menus for all the difficulties that the guitar has, that's another story. Now up here, you see the pitch is coming in, but the range of the song is shifting. And it looks really weird. And then it shifts back. It comes up for absolutely no reason and shifts back down. You saw that, right? That was ridiculous. If you have a keen eye, you'll notice that those phrases were ridiculously short. Kick your shoes off. That was a phrase. That was a phrase. Go berserk is a phrase. All night long is a phrase. And again, you have to hit 50% of each phrase. So these go berserk phrases absolutely fucking suck. You have to hit 2 out of 3 of these talkies in order to FC. And even with the pitch sections, the hitbox is really weird. It's just really weird. And then you have, and then while I'm here, we got charting like this shit. This is the most hilarious vocals charting I've ever seen. It's just I mean, you're technically correct, but it's like, why would you do that? It's like, Jesus. There's one more thing that Nolan pointed out a few minutes ago, is that downward slides in this game just don't work. So this right here, like this shit just doesn't work. I don't have footage for that. I'm gonna have to pull up your video. Hang on. Give me a minute. So they kind of work when they want to, but for the most part, they're just not going to. You got away with that one, Nolan. You got away with this. You lucky bastard. But in general, the downward slides just don't work. Another big offender is Sundial by Wolfmother. That one's got some pretty bad ones. So I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Nolan, is there anything I missed? PS2 stuff. Okay, I can cover that. So, all right. Then Avery is asking, what games are good vocals games in Guitar Hero Rock Band? So, excuse me, I just had dinner. The good entry level stuff would be Rock Band 3 or Rock Band 4. That's good entry level. If you want more of a challenge, I would recommend Guitar Hero World Tour, because the thing with Rock Band 3 and 4 is that they're easy to cheese. And Warriors of Rock is also a decent one, again, if you want more of a challenge. If you want, you could skip all the other ones. Feel free to try them if you want, but as far as Guitar Hero engines go, World Tour and Warriors are the best ones. Especially if you're on Wii. Apparently, Warriors of Rock is so loose on Wii for some reason. So I'll quickly go over how Guitar Hero PS2 vocals works. So, for the most part, it doesn't. So, for some reason, when you play vocals on Guitar Hero vocals on PS2, I don't know about Wii, but PS2, the calibration is just way off for some reason by default. I don't know why it does that. It's just like that. The only way you can get the chart to line up with the song, the audio, is if you max out the audio calibration. Like, literally max it out. 200 milliseconds. And even then, it's still a little off. But the game does not let you go beyond 200, I believe. On top of that, so that's just how you get the chart to line up, but that's not enough, because you also have to be very delicate of the sounds you're making into the microphone, because there's also some input lag. And then sometimes the fireball will just kind of jump around all over the place because it's got like mic sensitivity issues. I'm pretty sure that's what the problem is. It's just a sensitivity issue. And there's nothing you can do about it in game. You just have to adjust on your own. With that said, even Guitar Hero 5 and Band Hero on PS2, the vocals engine is just like the World Tour era. Like, World Tour still acts the way it does on PS2, where you can get by with a yellow flash, a solid. But Guitar Hero 5 and Band Hero on PS2 still play like Metallica, Van Halen, and Smash Hits do. It's just the way it is. So not only does the HUD appear the same way, but the scoring also is the same way. The scoring system is the same as the World Tour era, which is vastly different from the actual GH5 Plus era. Never remade the entry because the PS2 will probably become a nuke. Yeah, it's amazing that all the games, except for War, were even on PS2 at all. And then of course, the load times for those games on PS2 are horrendous. It just at minimum you have to wait 15 to 20 seconds for a song to load. Again, at minimum, it depends on the condition of the disc and the console that you're playing on. Like if they're in shitty condition, it's going to take longer to load. Anything else I should mention, or should we get into Peak? Need to smoke first? Okay, cool. So long didn't we just play Rock Band? Nah, we'll take a break. I'm gonna jump into this. Yeah, Rock Band vocals are much more enjoyable. Rock Band 3 and 4 vocals. Honestly, 1, 2, and Lego you can skip for all I care. And it's probably best for your sanity that you do. You could try Beatles and Green Day if you want. Those ones feel weird. Like people say what they will about Guitar Hero vocals. It's so broken. And honestly, the hit window for those games is not any worse than Rock Band 1 or 2. It's not. And for that matter, the talkies actually work on Guitar Hero, so. But yeah, I guess that's the it for the vocals the app session. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. If you're watching the VOD after the fact, feel free to ask questions of anything I may have missed in the comments, or if you need extra clarification. I love yapping about this stuff, so feel free to reach out and just ask some questions. What else you got? All right, peace.